Hello listeners, I'm Edward Blakelock. Today I continue the Seven Churches. Chapter 6, Part 1. Philadelphia, the City of Brotherly Love. The name of Philadelphia means, appropriately, brotherly love. The city was named in commiseration of Attalus II, the Pergamanian king, who was famed in history for his loyalty and devotion to his brother Eumenes. From earliest times the city had a missionary purpose. Long before that function concentrated itself in Christian evangelism, Philadelphia was an outpost of Hellenism in an Asiatic society, and all history had built into the city's consciousness the sense that, in a unique fashion, it was the bearer of a message, the exponent of a way of life. And in this social function she was successful. Ramsay states that the Lydian tongue had ceased to be spoken in the Philadelphian district as early as 19 AD, Greek becoming the language of a thoroughly Hellenized countryside. The city was a devotee of Greek religious cults, and so noted for its festivals and temples that it was called Little Athens. Philadelphia was ideally placed. It nestles on Mount Tmolus, in a broad vale which joins Hermus Valley, and along which the imperial road ran. It sits on a broad, low hill, admirably placed for defence, as Philadelphia's long resort to the Turkish invaders revealed. But it was a great disaster which brought Philadelphia headlong into history. The earthquake of 17 AD is thus described by Tacitus. The same year, 12 famous cities of Asia collapsed because of an earthquake which took place at night. A calamity the more serious because it fell without warning. Escape into open country, which is the usual resource in such cases, was no help, because people were swallowed up by the gaping earth. Great mountains, it is said, crumbled to rubble, and plains were thrust up into hills, while fires glowed amid the ruins. Sardis suffered most sharply and won most pity. The story continues with details of Caesar's bounteous earthquake relief, and lists the Philadelphians in the third place. The trouble, however, with Philadelphia was that there was no end to disaster. The city seems to have been nearest to the fault line. It stands at the edge of an old volcanic district, named in ancient times the Burnt Land, from the masses of scoria debris and lava which strew the countryside, and proximity to this area of ancient disturbance seems to have rendered the edity for a long time subject to earth tremors of a demoralizing nature. Strabo, the Greek geographer, writing in 20 AD, said, "Philadelphia is full of earthquakes. Its very walls are unreliable, but daily in one way or another heave and fall apart." Escape to the surrounding countryside was a common experience, and many would live for long periods in tents on the safer ground. In gratitude to Tiberius for his generous relief, the city took a new name. It called itself Neo Caesarea, but with the lapse of years the old name reasserted itself. The Philadelphians, in other words, tried unsuccessfully to write upon themselves the name of their god. Verse 12 in the letter doubtless refers to this. Heathendom seems to have been no special problem to the church in Philadelphia. In a vine-growing district, the worship of Dionysus with its enthusiastic ritual was probably established. But the problem in Philadelphia was neither Nicolaitanism nor authoritarian persecution. It was, as in Smyrna, the Jewish synagogue which fought the church with every refinement of opposition. The synagogue has passed away. So too have all vestiges of the proud cult of Rome and of the emperor. No trace remains of the Greek religions of Dionysus and Asclepios, which once flourished in the town. The Turk, it is true, has come, and the one-time Greek and Christian town lies far behind the high water mark of the great Muslim tide. Its soil, nonetheless, is rich with blood honourably shed in battle against the mighty conquerors from the east, and it was only sad division among the Christians which gave the invading Muslims the victory. It was actually a Turkish-Byzantine alliance which finally broke the valiant town, and the fact is a sad light on medieval Christendom. That was at the end of the 14th century, but Philadelphia still stands. It is the town of Al-Shahar, the Red City, named not from its outpoured lives, but from the volcanic earth around. According to the last available evidence from the district, 5 Christian churches still house a considerable Christian community and their bishop. Of the remnant now left, there are no statistics. After the treaty which ended the Turkish War of 1922, an exchange of minorities took place between Turkey and Greece. By this agreement, as Osbert Lancaster has written acidly, which was hailed by international planners and liberal intellectuals as a triumph of peaceful collaboration, an already overcrowded Greece was landed with 1.5 million refugees from homes which they had inhabited since at least as early as the 8th century BC, and which they had maintained against the Phrygians, the Persians, the Romans, the Goths, the Arabs, and the Turks, only finally being forced to render them up at the command of the League of Nations. Thank you for listening. I will see you on my next episode of the M. Blake Clock, The Seven Churches.